How much money are you thinking of giving people in Greenland to get them on board with a possible U.S.
I'm not talking about money for Greenland yet. I might talk about that. But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor.
Something massive is shifting in the North Atlantic, and the world just received a wake-up call that cannot be ignored. On January 9th, 2026, the geopolitical landscape was set on fire. While the world was watching the fallout of recent operations in South America, President Trump turned the lens toward the frozen north, issuing a statement that has sent shockwaves from Copenhagen to Beijing. The message was clear. The United States is no longer asking. It is asserting. But why now? Why is a massive island of ice suddenly the most valuable piece of real estate on the planet? Is it just about land? Or is there a hidden war being waged beneath the surface for the future of global trade and survival? Tonight, we dive into the explosive reality of the Greenland ultimatum.
I would like to make a deal, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way. And by the way, I'm a fan of Denmark too, I have to tell you, and they've been very nice to me. I'm a big fan, but the fact that they had a boat land there 500 years ago doesn't mean that they own the land. I'm sure we had lots of boats go there also.
The Arctic was once a zone of international cooperation, but those days are officially over. The ice is melting, and as it recedes, it is revealing the world's next great battlefield. President Trump's rhetoric isn't just about expansion, it's about a perceived existential threat. According to recent intelligence and the president's own words, the neighborhood is getting crowded. Russian and Chinese vessels are reportedly patrolling these waters with increasing frequency. We aren't just talking about fishing boats. We are talking about destroyers and submarines capable of shifting the balance of power in the Atlantic.
If you take a look outside of Greenland right now, there are Russian destroyers, there are Chinese destroyers and bigger, there are Russian submarines all over the place. We're not going to have Russia or China occupy Greenland, and that's what they're going to do if we don't. So we're going to be doing something with Greenland, either the nice way or the more difficult way.
This is the GIUK gap, the strategic choke point between Greenland, Iceland, and the United Kingdom. If Russia or China secures a foothold here, they don't just control a piece of ice, they control the gateway to the North American East Coast. For the current administration, the time for leasing security is over. In their view, if you don't own the land, you don't truly defend it.
Please, go ahead, ma'am.
On Greenland, Mr. President, why is it so important to you to own it when you have a military presence there, which you could expand to affect security?
Because when we own it, we defend it. You don't defend leases the same way. You have to own it.
But there is a second layer to this story that goes beyond military bases. It's about what lies beneath the permafrost. Greenland is home to some of the world's largest deposits of rare earth elements, reefs. These aren't just minerals, they are the secret source for every piece of technology we use. From the magnets in your smartphone to the guidance systems in a Tomahawk missile, rare earths are the lifeblood of the 21st century. Currently, China controls over 60% of the processing for these materials. By securing Greenland, the United States wouldn't just be protecting its borders, it would be seizing the supply chain for the future of green energy and military dominance. While the president emphasizes national security, his advisors and tech giants like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates are already looking at the massive deposits of nickel, cobalt, and uranium that are becoming accessible as the climate changes. It's an economic goldmine disguised as a security shield.
Those countries have to have ownership, and you defend ownership, you don't defend leases. And we'll have to defend Greenland. If we don't do it, China or Russia will. It's not going to happen. We are not going to have, and I like China, I like Russia, I love the people of China, I love the people of Russia. I get along very well with President Putin, but I'm very disappointed in him. I get along very well with President Xi. I'm going to go over to China in April, but I don't want them as a neighbor in Greenland. Not going to happen.
This brings us to the most controversial part of the current narrative, the relationship with Denmark. Denmark has been a faithful NATO ally for decades. They've fought alongside the US in the Middle East and hosted American bases for generations. But the administration's current stance is that being a fan of Denmark isn't enough to secure the Arctic. The rhetoric has shifted from diplomatic partnership to a blunt assessment of capability. The argument being made is that Denmark, a nation of 6 million people, cannot realistically hold off the combined maritime ambitions of two superpowers in a territory as vast as Greenland. This ownership doctrine is a radical departure from post-WWII diplomacy. It suggests that sovereignty is secondary to the ability to project force. It's a message that has left European leaders like Mette Frederiksen and Keir Starmer reeling, warning that such moves could signal the end of the NATO alliance as we know it. To understand why the administration feels confident enough to make these global moves, you have to look at what's happening back home. Pacing is everything in politics, and the current Greenland push is backed by a surging domestic narrative. On the same day as the Greenland comments, a bombshell economic report was released. Real GDP growth for the fourth quarter of 2025 hit a staggering 5.4%. But it's how that growth was achieved that is the real story. The administration is currently engaged in what they call a great transition. By cutting over 200,000 federal jobs through the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, they are betting everything on a private sector boom. The logic is simple: shrink the state, grow the market, and use that economic muscle to project power abroad. The 5.4% growth rate isn't just a number. It's the fuel for the Greenland ambition. It's the administration saying, our system is working, so our strategy is right. So, where does this leave us? We are standing at a crossroads. On one side, we have the traditional rules-based order, the idea that borders are sacrosanct and alliances are built on treaties and respect. On the other side, we have a new realist doctrine, the idea that in a world of disappearing ice and rising rivals, ownership and force are the only true forms of security. Greenland is no longer just an island. It is the ultimate test case for the 2020s. Will it remain a semi-autonomous territory under a European crown, or will it become the 51st state of an American empire focused on total Arctic dominance? One thing is certain: the hard way or the easy way, the map of the North is being redrawn in real time.